We need to talk.
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 Welcome back to We Need to Talk, episode number 80. I'm host MR.KOA alongside
Top boy.
80.
Wow, it's a lot.
80. Even with the breaks we've done. 80.
It's a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of episodes. 20 away from 100. What are we doing for 100?
I have no clue yet.
What are we doing? We gotta do something for 100. Definitely something for 100. I'm not sure what. But something. This week, I went more on the lifestyle and just our lives. I was not sure what sparked it, but you know, I know this when I was just kind of organizing stuff and going through my schedule, and like even like going through my phone nowadays is like I probably talk to 3 people
Like on the regular?
each day. Yeah, max.
Is that a bad thing?
No, but I'm saying like that. Like I was just thinking about it. I'm just like, yo, like I really talk to my girlfriend. Sometimes you or my cousin in my group chat, and that's it. Like
Yeah.
like the question that I asked was just like, you know, at this time in our lives, like at this age, like have you had to drop any friends, and from dropping those friends, like old friends, not just like random people, like drop some like really good old friends, and maybe not so aggressively drop them, but like have you like distanced yourself from some certain friends, not because anything they did, but just like it's not the right fit for you right now, and you know, has your life been better, or have you kind of missed them, or like what how have you, what's your perspective on that?
I think
You're 27 now, no?
28
now.
Yeah.
So 28 when Zamora was 21, I'm sure you're talking to enough people all the time. Your phone's going off, you're doing this, going to events, going here, someone would blow up your phone or text you, oh, what are you saying? Like now 28, entrepreneur doing your thing, like you probably talk to what now? Less than 5 people a day?
Yeah, I mean, like people that I'm having actual conversations with.
Yeah, I mean, like
really
not including random clients, or like
it's not that many. I mean, there's basically 2 group chats I'm in like all day. You're on one of them, and then the others like from guys that I've known for over a decade now.
Yeah,
and then there's like a few other people. That's really it. I was having a discussion earlier because the owner of the gym that I work at, she said she was like, oh, like what's the podcast topic today? And I showed her the question, and she was like kind of along the lines of what you said. You know, I haven't really had to drop anyone per se, but it's definitely been it's just been a case of people grow apart. That's really all it is. You know, anyone that's been in my life that I've considered like a friend or like a good friend. Yeah. I actually haven't had to say to myself, okay, there's nothing that's happened that's caused me to say, I got to drop you. If anything, it's just been a product of us going into different careers or moving to different areas, so I don't physically see you that often. That's typically been it. And then at times when you run into these people, it's usually pretty cordial. It's like kind of normal, but there is an essence of, wow, like we actually went separate ways. You know what I mean?
Have you never experienced that?
No, I have.
Oh, you have?
I've definitely experienced that, where it's like you stop seeing certain people, stop talking to certain people just based off of the fact that, you know, you went separate ways. You got different paths in life. And then when you see that person again, even though you didn't stop talking or leave on bad terms, there's still something in your head where you're like, oh yeah, like we just stopped talking to each other. Yeah. For what? You know?
So you have not experienced not working out with a friend and it actually because of an issue, you're like, we're not good no more on either end?
Yeah, I don't think that I have.
No?
I'm really trying to think. Trying to think.
I mean, if it's that bad, they're gone. That you don't remember. That's
if I have and crazy. I don't remember them, that's crazy. I don't believe that I have. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Have you?
Yeah, I have.
Really?
I have. Yeah.
How was that? Obviously, don't say names. But how was that?
It's weird, man. Like, it's weird because he's still friends with my other good friends.
Okay.
And I didn't see him since we haven't spoken actually since the fall. I think I told you about that with the wedding contract thing, that situation.
Oh, okay.
Did I tell you about that?
I think it's
I was supposed to shoot my friend's wedding, and then he wanted to cancel the wedding and took a deposit and all that.
Yeah.
All that thing.
Yeah.
That was like 2.5 years ago now.
Okay, I remember this. Yeah.
I haven't spoken to him since. But I'll tell the story briefly. But like basically, like it's weird because he's so good with all my other friends and we grew up together.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like probably 4 or 5 of us that grew up in the church together, and we were like best friends.
Yeah.
All of us since we were like 5 years old, and we were all part of a group. And one of my best friends, Nick, who I've told you about, who died from cancer.
Yeah.
He was part of that group, and like we've all been so tightly knit. And then me and him specifically, we went to high school together. Like the other friends, they went to different schools, but me and him specifically went to high school together.
Yeah,
played on the same football team, did lunch together. I stole some shit in high school, and he was my backup. Like just pure fuckery, like that was my guy. And it when it got I guess broken apart due to money. It was just
super frustrating.
It rubbed me the wrong way because I'm like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? Like, we're grown up. Like, we're grown ups.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And the situation happened. Basically, this is why you have contract as well, guys, and this is why you don't mix. Try your best to try and stay as professional, even with your friends when you're discussing business or doing stuff like that, or don't work with them at all if that's the case, because that line gets very fuzzy once responsibility and rules and contracts and money gets into mix with friendships, and then they have their own interpretations. It's just, yeah. So anyways,
big time.
This guy, my friend wants me, or my former friend, I guess I should say, wanted me to shoot his wedding, and he booked me to do his wedding. He's like, hey, I'm getting married, yada, yada. I was like, yeah, I got you. I'll do your wedding for sure. No problem. And I gave him a discount already as my friend. I was like, yeah, I'll do it for this price. And he's like, cool, like, appreciate it, yada, yada. He's like, I'll send the contract over. Boom, he signs it, sends the deposit over. Great. A few months go by. And this is the thing, for those of you guys who don't know, when you take a deposit, you're taking a deposit to secure a particular date in your calendar, because now you are without that day for potential work. If someone wants to book you, like you've taken a deposit because like I can't book this day. So if someone else is like, yo, I want to do this thing, you're like, date's gone. Like, sorry.
It's pretty much whoever gives you the deposit first, right, is their day. Yeah.
So the issue with that is if you take a deposit and then you have a contract, it's for that exact reason, because of the potential of money you're turning down, opportunities you're turning down. You're adjusting your whole life for that particular day or week, whatever. And on top of it, when you get a deposit, you typically use that money for different things, for day-to-day functional stuff, whatever it is, bills, whatever. So in my contract, as necessary, my deposits are non-refundable. Especially for weddings, because once I make that commitment, like that adjusts my whole calendar, adjusts everything. Yeah. Non-refundable in the contract. You sign it, cool, there's no discussion. Anyway, when you mix this with friends, sometimes
they can skirt by that.
They just
sometimes they do. Yeah.
Not all, but sometimes people think that, contracts are just a thing you're just doing just to try to be professional. Like, don't really mean nothing. Like, you're just like saying a contract, but not we're not really doing the contract. It's like, but yeah, we are. Like, okay. But I'm running a business. So yes, this is still a real contract. You're my friend. And the friend part of it was the discount in price. Yeah. But doesn't negate the professional part of what we're doing. I've already reduced my price, which is what you benefit from the discount from the friendship. But the rules still apply on how I run my business. That still remains. Anyway, for whatever reason, it's not my business. I don't know why, but he didn't want to have a wedding anymore at that time. Okay.
Is he married now or no?
Of course he's married now. Okay. All right. That's the thing. I'm just like, he's still getting married. So anyway.
No, getting, or he is.
Sorry. I mean, he was still I knew he was still going to get married. He just didn't want a wedding anymore. Like, it was just, I'm assuming they needed money for something maybe, and maybe wanted to downsize it. I don't know what, I don't really care. It's not my business, but whatever. Paid the deposit for the wedding. Months later, calls me back. Hey, yo, like, we're not going to do the wedding thing anymore. Like, we're going to get married, but just do something super low key now. So like, just send that deposit back when you can. Thanks. I'm like, I read that. I'm like, yo, honestly, sorry to hear that you're not having the wedding anymore. It didn't work out. That's unfortunate, but I'm glad you guys are still getting married. That's great. But the deposits are non-refundable as per my contract.
Deposits are okay. So go on. I don't want to interrupt this story. Right? Go on.
So he responds with, the contract was like for real. Like I thought you just had to sign that, just as like just kind of what you do, just kind of get it started. But
if that was the case, I wouldn't have taken a deposit from you to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Like what? Anyway, go on.
So I'm like, oh no, the contract is a contract. Like it's kind of why I wrote it, and you signed it. You signed it. God. I signed it, and in the contract, it clearly states in the second line, deposits are non-refundable. He goes, oh, but like, I didn't think you'd really act like that. Like, I gave you the deposit, but we're not doing the wedding anymore. So like, can you just send that back? And I'm like, well, I understand what you think is going on, but unfortunately I can't send your deposit back. Because I started explaining, I'm like, money gets used for this. Yeah, I don't have to do that. I was just like, this is my friend, so let me explain it to you. I'm like, money gets used for this. Deposit non-refundable for a reason. I put that in my contract and I state that on purpose. You signed it, bro. So I mean, I can't, like, I'm not just saying stuff. Like, it's unfortunate you're not getting married anymore, but the money's been spent on different things.
It's almost, but the thing with me when it comes to deposits in general, it's almost like just common knowledge that most deposits you don't get back.
No.
Right? The only time you might get a deposit if you like rent.
That's a pre-authorization.
Yeah.
That's
like a
not
security deposit and stuff like that.
That's not a deposit for services.
Services, yeah.
You're doing a deposit to hold a spot and you get the money back. So
yeah.
But no. Anyway, the conversation goes on back and forth. I can tell this is not going the right direction because he's starts catching attitude and he's like, okay, so you're just gonna treat me like a regular client? Like I'm like one of your best friends. Like I didn't think you really treat me like a regular client. And I'm like, I'm not treating you like anything. I'm like, you signed a contract. Like I actually can't, like there's actually not even a conversation right now. I'm like, I understand you don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but you signed it. And he's like, okay, well, what about in like 2 months? Can you just like give it back in 2 months? I'm like, no, I'm not. The deposits is not coming back to you.
Oh, this is so frustrating,
and then
he
goes, okay, so I don't want to go back and forth with you about this. I just want to know, are you going to send the deposit back or are we not going to get this money back? Just so I know like where we stand. And I'm like, bro, first of all, it's not about the money because like if I want to give you $1,000, $1,000 was the deposit.
Yeah.
If I want to give you $1,000, I can give you $1,000. I'm like, but now this is more about principle because you don't even take me seriously now, right? Like if it was like different circumstances, say, God forbid, your wife died and now you're not getting married because she literally passed.
Yeah.
The wedding cannot go on, obviously. Yeah. And now you need money for funeral expenses. Like now that this needs to be diverted somewhere else. Now, as a friend, absolutely with my discretion, I still wouldn't have to give you the deposit back, but that's a situation with my discretion. I'd be like, yo, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
You're going through that. You already lost your wife. Now you like, you know what, here on my, and I probably give you more. Like I probably be like, here's the deposit back and here's,
Yeah.
At my discretionary reasoning.
Yeah.
Right. But one, I don't know why the hell you're not getting married anymore. It's not my business. Two, you said, book this date for me and I did it. 3, I gave you a contract. You said, send it over and you signed it.
Yeah. 4,
this is 2 months later since we made that booking, like, and you're talking to me like, just send that money back. Thanks. Like, what? Like, it doesn't work like that. And I'm like, 5, I'm like, if you didn't know me, we wouldn't have this conversation right now. Like, if you just booked another agency or whatever, and there's things that no refunds, you might be like, hey, like, I'm not getting ready anymore. Can I get it back? And they'd be like, unfortunately, no refunds. And that'd be the end of your convo. That'd be the end of your convo. You'd be like, oh shit. All right. Well, you know? But because it's me, it's like, oh, wow, you're just going to do it. So anyways, long story short, we did the pushback. And I answered him just like, yeah, like, bro, like, I'm sorry. Like, you know, this is kind of the situation you're in, but I'm like, I can't give you the deposit back. He's like, all right, no worries. And that was the last time we spoke 2.5 years ago.
No worries was the last time.
2.5 years ago. I was like, cool. And we were friends since I was 5. I'm 30 now. And we've been like best friends, like jokes and things and whatever, family. I did his, like just everything. Right.
Yeah.
And, one of our friends had a birthday party, in July. And obviously he's invited to it.
Yeah.
Because he's his friend too.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I'm seeing him in 2.5 years since that thing. Right. So I'm like, I pull up to it, whatever. He pulls up and I'm like, I'm not going to be petty because I'm like, I didn't do anything. Like, but whatever. So I see he pulls up with his girl. His girl glances at me, doesn't look at me. And I'm like, okay. I see him. I'm like, yo, what up? He goes, oh, yeah. I'm like, okay. And we just didn't talk the whole party. Like, but I'm like, what is this? Like, this is trash. Like this, like I was actually like, I'm not bothered because my life is, you know, obviously has progressed and but like, it's very annoying because I'm like, this was actually for no reason. And now like, this is really how it's going to play out for life. Like, this is not going to change.
Yeah.
Like, this is not one day he's going to be like, you know what? Like, I can tell already by the way this has progressed in 2.5 years that like he's not gonna one day be like, you know what, yo, what up? It's all good. Like, I don't see that happening.
Well, I think, yeah, like, I mean, you know this person obviously way better than I do. I just think when situations like that come up, it's a matter of perspective, like I said before, right? And I could actually see, just based off of the story alone, I could see him coming around, and the only way that would happen is if he ended up in the same position as you in terms of like the field of work. That's like literally the only scenario where he then realizes, oh, I actually completely understand now why Ryan couldn't give me back the deposit. Right. It's not a matter of him and I being friends. It's a matter of just how the business works. Right. So, and that happens a lot. Like I haven't had falling outs with people, but I've definitely had situations when I was, like prime example, I was talking to Amanda about this the other day, and we were talking about how my life used to be hella messy with like my exes and shit. And there was this one scenario, like there's only been one time in all my relationships where I've like snapped, right? And that was with my ex, right? And it was specifically at the Life of Pablo concert. I told you that story, right? Yeah. So when I snapped, it was like a perfect storm of like situations that had to have happened in order for me to reach that point. And back then, like, I don't know how many years ago this was, 3-4 years ago. Amanda at the time was just like, Zamora, you were wild for that. Even though like she knew the situation was just fucked up. She's like, I can't believe you reacted this way. And it wasn't until 4 years later, literally a couple weeks ago, she says to me, yo, back then I thought you were wilding, and then I went through some shit with this guy I was talking to, and I fully get it now. Like, I fully understand. So it's just a matter of perspective. And sometimes when you're not like in this situation, you, like, based on what I know, like, you weren't in the wrong. So it's a little easier for you to not have so much emotion attached to it, but at the same time, I could be wrong, but like, you're still fucked up about it because you're like, it's just, why did this even like have
so silly? Like, it is so silly because it's not like, if it was literally just some guy, I'd be like, whatever, that's whack, whatever. But like, we really ended like a 24-year friendship
over money,
over $1,000. $1,000.
And you know what's worse? After that incident, like, you guys have just had these 2.5 years to just be like separated from this incident, right? And I like I said, I don't know who this is, so I can't speak to it, but I can imagine that there's just been conversations that have just made that situation even worse.
Of course.
Separately, you know, which makes it then even harder to build from this.
Right.
You know, it's not like that was like his girlfriend that he's no longer dating next time you see him. That's his wife, right? So obviously this is a conversation that's been had, and you know, it's going to make it difficult to repair that.
And anyways, but yeah, that's it's silly, man. It's so silly. But yeah, what are some people's responses?
It's definitely not ideal. So yes, obviously the question was, have you reached a point in your life where you've had to drop old friends? How has your quality of life increased or decreased as a result? First answer we got was from Brianna Jeremiah. She said, yes, as I've gone more in touch with who I am as an individual and trusting my intuition, I found that certain people didn't align with who I am or am planning to be. There isn't always an explanation for this either. Sometimes you just go about your life quietly, feeling undisturbed. That's a pretty good take. Because especially the last part, which is there isn't always an explanation for this either. Yeah. Right? That's how I feel.
Like nothing actually happened, but it just...
Nothing happened. Like, I think sometimes you just fucking... There are people...
It might just be pace, too. I think pace is what happens.
Yeah.
Just like imagine you guys are both in the race and someone just starts getting tired and you're not. Like,
dude, there's plenty of people I know. Like, I have one friend that comes to mind in particular who her and I used to be like very tight, and now we're good. We're still good. But thinking of pace, I continued living downtown. She lives in like the suburbs of Brampton now. Right? It's like pace has totally changed. You're not in the same like realm. So I don't really talk to you. I don't really see you. And at no point does my brain go, oh fuck, like that sucks, or I'm sad about it. It's the nature of the beast. It's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Right. Hold on. What time is it? How much time do you have?
I have the time right here.
Okay, cool. The Wong View. Brittany, she said, last year something happened where a really good friend and I had to go our separate ways. Honestly, my quality of life increased since I no longer had to deal with the drama from that situation.
Go ahead.
This is interesting though, because she said, Brittany, you said a really good friend of yours, like both of you had to go separate ways. And then you said, my quality of life increased since I no longer had to deal with the drama from that situation. So outside of that particular situation, were they not always a good friend? Because to me, it's like, how bad did that one situation have to be in order for you to just say, my life was so much better to not have this really good friend?
One situation.
Yeah. But that's all it takes though, right? Like you said.
It's one time where you're just like, wow, you're off. Like,
isn't that fucked up though, that like, because I'm sure we've all been there, but isn't it fucked up that when it comes to friends that you've known for a long time, it can take one instance. But when it comes to relationships, a partner that you've known for not even a quarter of the time as some of your friends, you're willing to fucking...
But you know why?
Why, Ryan? Why, Ryan? Tell me why.
Your friends don't suck your dick. You know why? That makes a huge difference. Your friends aren't sucking your dick.
So sick, bro. Oh my god.
When it comes down to it, your girlfriend or your boyfriend can make mistake after mistake because they're giving you head. Your friends aren't. So at the end of the day, if your friend fucks up, it's like, what do you got for me? I'm sorry to keep me here. I'm sorry. There's nothing. How do you account for this?
That's actually a super wild thing. That's actually the wildest thing.
How do you account for this fuck up? At least your boyfriend or girlfriend can give you some head, and you're like, you know what? I'm pissed, but fuck, I'm gonna go to bed. Like, all right. When it's your friendship, you just stay mad. Like, what can they actually do? You can't actually do anything to please me. to get me out of this anger.
I hate that I'm actually sitting here like,
what can you actually do? You actually can't do anything to me. If I'm mad at my friend, I'm mad at my friend. You can say, I'm sorry. You're like, yeah, all right, cool, no worries. But you're mad. You're like, I'm mad, but all right.
Fuck, man. That's so annoying because like when you know these people they're basically your family.
Yes.
You've known these people for so long.
Yes.
For so long.
Yes.
And anything can just snap that whole relationship.
As long as you guys are staying on the same path, you guys are laughing, things are good, you guys are good. You might bump heads here and there, but if it doesn't go past the edge or then okay, cool. We can reel ourselves back in. But if you get pushed over the edge, how do you get back over the edge? How do you get back up? Once you push a friend over the edge, how do you get back up? Because it's like, what are you going to do for me? What can you really do for me? Like, you push me over the edge. Now I'm on the ground. How are you going to get me up? Like, how? How do I get back up the cliff? A girl or your man can give you some head and they'll pull you back up. You'll float back up there. You will float back onto the mountain.
Oh my God. That's insane.
Yeah,
That's insane.
Friends are fickle. Podcast name.
MR.KOA, he said, yes, overall it increased my quality of life because I was able to make the time and effort and apply it to myself to help advance on my goals. However, it is never easy to lose a friend, especially one that you have invested a lot of time and effort on. So I think in regards to Abdur's point is, the time investment to me, the way it makes sense for when you're in a relationship is like, oh fuck, I don't want to break up with this person because there's so much time invested or all this crap. I feel like that same logic should be applied to your friendships, but I feel like that's almost never the case. I feel like when friends get into heated things, they don't
actually think about the longevity of the friendship.
I don't think it. The amount of time and thought process that goes towards the longevity of our friendship is taken as seriously as your relationship.
I could see that, and I think that's because your friendships, in most cases, are not every day
in your face. Like
not even in your face. Just like they're not everyday projects. If I don't talk to you for a month, I'll be like you might be like, whoa, that was weird. But yeah, I was like, I just got busy, whatever. Like, oh yeah, like whatever.
Yeah.
If you don't talk to your man or your girl for a month with no explanation,
it's problems.
Like
a lot of problems.
It's problems. You know what I'm saying? So like your relationships are daily projects. That needs to be like communicated. I mean, you technically, like, if you want to be equal, like, yeah, you probably should communicate with your friendships too to keep them just as strong.
Yeah.
But it's not obligated as much. We in most cases, I'm not gonna say all friendships, I'm sure maybe some friendships, but in most cases, we're not holding our friends accountable that much to be like, yo, like, check in, like, let me know what you're doing. Like, where you been, bro? Like, like, we're not really on each other like that, girl or guy. Maybe some girls are like, yo, I haven't talked to you in a while, but they're not stressing. You don't talk to your man or your girl for a while, you're like, what's happening? He's not like me. Like, the mind goes somewhere very different. I don't think you don't like me if I don't talk to you for a month. I don't think I did anything wrong, particularly. I assume the positive. I assume he's probably busy. Maybe he's going through something. Maybe he needs some time. Like, versus what did I do? Are we about to break up? Is a friendship like?
What I'm saying? That's a really good point, because I think the main reason why people go separate ways, yes, it's a combination of, I think it more so has to do, life past what you end up doing, you just separate. But I think the other thing to account for is it's the accountability thing you brought up. Like, people don't actually like holding their friends accountable. I actually believe this because I think most people who used to be tight and then stop talking, the reason 9 times out of 10 people will say, well, like, he doesn't hit me up. So I don't really hit him up. Right.
We just fell out because no one started messing each other.
No one's messing each other. And that applies to both men and women. So I think if it was just more common practice or like normalized for people to just do that, you wouldn't see as much falling out in general. Like there really should be no reason why you can go to college or university with someone for like 4 years and
when you're done, disappear.
And when you're done, just kind of disappear.
It's like, oh, that was for school. It's like that was a person that you like.
That's a full ass person, and it's also
just my school friend.
It's also like very like formative years of your life, you know.
It also seems very manipulative,
right?
It's like, that was just you only like them to get through school, like,
dude, and then
which many people do, but it's like, but whoa, like
it's just weird to me, man. And
I'm guilty of it. There's people I was talking to every day in Ottawa.
Yeah, bro. There's people, I shit you not, there's people that I went to high school with that at the time we were all tight. Like my year 92 was very tight. I think, let's say there was like 80 students in my year, something like 64 of us came back for year 13. And a lot of 92s did that. There's people from that year that I legit have no clue if they're alive or not. Like, swear to God. Like, it's actually kind of fucked when I sometimes think about it. I'm like, yo, I can't even find these people.
And how close you were.
I'm like, where these people
what
at?
Happened?
Like, where are these people at? What happened? There was a dude I went to high school with. I ran into the other day at the gym. I had just finished teaching the class, and normally I teach and then I just bounce, so I go do something else. But today, for whatever reason, I just decided to chill on the couches on my phone. I see this dude walking down the stairs and he's got a mask on, but I can recognize him.
Yeah, you're like,
and I was like, yo, Mark? And he's like, Zamor? And I haven't seen this dude
since high school.
Yeah. I'm 28. I graduated high school at 18. That's a decade. I have not seen him since. And when I'm talking to this guy, I recognize it's the same person from high school. Yeah. But I'm like, yo, this man's different. Like
the vibe.
He's a different human being.
Sorry,
like,
move your camera.
He's a different human being. Like, it's the same person. It's the same person, but he's also different. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's so strange. Yeah. But what's also crazy is because you probably have experienced this too. You run into people that you haven't seen in a long time. You just had a falling out. And the first thing they say is, oh man, like I've seen all the stuff you've been doing, blah, blah, blah. And you're like,
how? How?
Well, you know how, but the problem is I don't see none of your shit. Yeah. Like you feel.
And the thing is, if you've seen it, why have you never said anything?
Yes, he put you in this weird position.
I've seen everything you've been doing, bro. I'm like, I haven't even said a word.
And you haven't said a word. Like
you just watch.
I've just assumed, like, if I knew, I would have said something to you. I would have followed.
I don't even know where you are.
Nothing. But when people say, yo, man, like,
been watching
the videos, the photo, like, been watching that.
You're like, sick. Really? It's like, God doesn't even know you follow me.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, yeah.
Isn't it kind of weird?
Strange.
I think that's something that, like, only people in our field, like, really recognize. But every time, it happens so often. Yeah. It's one thing when
keep killing it, bro.
Yeah. It's one thing when you meet randoms. Like, random people are just like, oh, I've been following you for a while.
Yeah.
Like,
but when it's someone you actually know, you're like, you've been watching, you haven't said a word in years. You just watch every day. You know who I am.
You see me on social media active,
but you know who I am. It's not like you're a fan, or like not one day where you're like, yo, like this is some really cool stuff, or how you been. Like you just watch and just never speak to me. Like what? Like I actually didn't even know you're doing this, which means you're aware that you're doing this, and also must be aware that I don't know you're doing this. Like.
It's wild, bro.
I don't know.
It's wild. Once again, that's probably like, what's it called? Relating to the previous episode, that's like social media behaviors that's come into play.
Yeah.
You know? Because creeping was, think about that. Like, in order for you to be like a sleuth, like before you were a sleuth, if you were online, just like stalking people and shit, like, I feel like that was like a criminal offense before, for you to just have an online presence and just gather information on people and just creep all day just to blackmail them. But now, today, people are straight up just creeping for fun.
Yeah.
They got fake accounts that they use to just follow you. There are people who know there are people who know everything about you. and you don't even know them.
You don't even know who they are.
You don't even know who they are. They know everything about you. Everything. You go block someone on IG today.
Don't make a new one.
Don't make a new one. Tomorrow.
They'll search your name and be like, oh, I'm blocked. That's okay.
All right, bet.
I'll make a next one.
I'll go to this Finsta.
User 5076. 0 blank circle. It's like, what is this page? You want to get verified?
Yo,
you ever get those messages?
All the time, bro. Whenever
you want to get verified?
Yo, I don't. For those people out there, this is actually another funny thing I forgot to bring up last week. But for those people out there who aren't, I know they're real, but they're not super active on social media. So it's like they follow you and you look at their account. They're following like a couple hundred people and they only have like 2 posts.
Yeah.
I block those people immediately. Like every time.
You block them?
I block them.
Why?
Because I feel like they're narcs, bro. Like I feel uncomfortable when I see someone follow me. They're not active at all. Like they're not. I would understand.
What are you here for?
Again,
who sent you?
I would understand if you don't post often.
Yeah.
But if I go to your page, I see you posting stories.
Yeah.
Right. I'll let that slide. But if I go to your page and you barely posted nothing,
2017,
you're getting blocked. Why are you following me in 2020 and the last thing you posted was in 2018?
They just want to see what you're doing.
Blocked.
Why can't they have the freedom?
No. I feel like you're a narc. That's what I think it is.
That said no.
Blocked. No. I think you're a narc.
You don't get to see.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You got to verify yourself. You know those fucking Google things where it's like, click the tire. It's like, I'm that inhuman version. So when I look at your page, if it looks sus, you get blocked.
What's it? Okay, this is funny. It's making me think of stuff. What would you say is a low-key thing that you do that people probably don't know you do?
On social media?
Yeah. Like, if I told my cousin this, and he told me I was an asshole. I'm like, am I asshole for doing this? He's like, yeah, you are. I'm like,
what do you do?
So I can tell when someone's commenting because they genuinely care about what I'm doing versus when they're copying and pasting comments.
Yeah, okay.
I delete copy and pasted comments. So anytime someone comments like,
no, I do.
If they comment something that's like I can't even explain.
It's usually not
comment like a bunch of emojis.
Yeah,
like, and they're real accounts. But sometimes people just like they'll just slap comments on like throw like a bunch.
Are these people you know?
People I know too.
Okay,
but like they'll just slap like a explosion sign and like this and that on there. I don't like it.
You just delete it.
I just get rid of it.
This man's curating his comment section.
It's not. There's no substance to that. I don't need a bunch of like. If you want to say something, cool. I never delete words.
Yeah,
that's a lie.
I know that's a lie. It has to be.
There's someone else who comments on my stuff.
Or is this a specific person?
There's a specific person. They comment on my stuff, but like, they comment like they're overexcited. I don't know if it's just them as a person.
Do I know this person?
I don't know. I don't think you do.
Yeah.
I don't even really know them personally.
Okay.
They just follow me. But like, they comment, like when they comment on certain things, they'll comment like, oh my God, this is so sick, in like caps locks. And I get rid of those immediately. It might be genuine comments, but I don't like seeing it. Like it's literally like 5 O's, 3 M's, 6 G's with a bunch of like 10 flame emojis and like, yo, you're killing it, like a bunch of and I'm just like, it's too much.
Like I know it's good, but it's chill.
Like,
you know what I mean?
is that weird though? Like I know they mean well, whoever this person is, but because they do it pretty often, anytime I see them come and drop those and it's usually like the same type of excitement, like different things, but just like pure caps lock and dragged out. And I remove it every time because I'm like, I don't want to see this. And I don't think that's that weird. I don't think it's that weird, you know? Like, it's not that weird that they're doing that.
No, you're doing it.
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable. I don't
think it's weird that you delete it. Because I've done that too. If I see something,
it's just too extra.
If I see something in my head, immediately goes, this is kind of foolish. I get rid of it. I definitely had some of those. But what do I do? What do I fucking do?
I mean, I feel like it sounds weird because I'm like, they're complimenting me, but like, I don't want it. I don't want it like that. Like I just want natural comments of how you actually
You know
feel.
what it is? Because sometimes I read comments, and if I know the person, I'm imagining them like in person saying this to me. And sometimes I'm like, you would not be this excited. Like you wouldn't be like this. Relax.
You're doing this for the comments.
I think I'm sure there's something I do. I'm really trying to think of it, but like, okay, it's not something I do, but I think about. Right. So I'll even use like last night as an example. I was driving home and I don't have notifications on my phone for Instagram, right? So I got to open the app to see when people like my shit. And what really fucking irks me, like bothers me so much, is when people who don't follow me come to my page, like real people, and
like
discover
like a bunch of things.
They like a bunch of my stuff. They'll comment,
but won't follow,
and they won't follow me. And I don't know. It upsets me that it even bothers me.
But you know why it bothers you? Because you know they're doing it with intent. Because I know, and I
no. But here's the thing: the reason I get cheese because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, there's no fucking way that you actively said to yourself, I'm not gonna follow him after you just liked 40 things on my page.
They did actively say that.
I fucking hate it. I hate it so much.
But the thing is, you know what? You know why? It's because, like, I don't know, like the reason deep down why, but the surface reason is, you know, if you follow them, they'll follow you back in seconds. You know, if they like 10 pictures and comment and don't follow you, but if you went back to their page and just followed them back, they'd follow you back immediately.
Okay, 90% of the time that happens.
Exactly.
There've been a few times where like I follow back and they don't follow, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
why are you here?
Why would you just like all my shit? It doesn't make sense. Help me understand. Like,
this is a social law bullshit. What the hell is this?
Because I agree with you. Like, I do agree.
They're just waiting for you to
hit the follow back. You hit the follow, they're gonna follow back. 90% of the time.
They did it for attention. They like, I got his attention.
But when people don't follow back after you just liked all my shit, I'm like, you're a sociopath. Why would you just come on my page and like a bunch of stuff and say, I love all this shit, but I'm just not gonna follow you?
What if they just, some people generally like searching people's names?
That's foolishness.
So, hey, social law, man.
That's foolishness. You know what IG needs to do? IG needs to just they need to go all the way in and fuck with people by letting you know who saves your shit.
Yeah, that'll be nuts.
Can you imagine?
People stop using the app.
Can you imagine? I don't think people will stop using it.
I mean, they'll stop using the save feature.
You think that would kill the save feature?
Once people know that they're saving, they're not using the save feature anymore. They'll just screenshot and keep it in their folder. People, they'll just be an alternate way. If people now know that you can see my saves, they'll just screenshot stuff and save it. They'll just have folders on their phone for save stuff because they're like, I'm not letting this guy know.
Yo, there are a lot of times where I wish I could see who was saving my shit. Not even from creative shit. Like, if I post something with me and my girl,
they're like, why do you have this?
I'm like,
what are you doing?
Why are there so many shares of this?
It's group chats.
All the time. Because you can see if it's being shared to your stories.
No, these are straight.
And I'm like,
straight to group chats.
There's 80 shares on this, but there's only
Look at him. Look at them. He's not happy.
I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, what are they?
He's not happy.
Oh my God.
Look at him. That should be me.
Let's see what Sid said. She said, if I notice that I continue to pour all my water into their cup and they aren't reciprocating, I distance myself because it's not fair that my energy is going towards them and they aren't doing the same. No bad blood. It's about reciprocity. And then she continues to say, I've always been cautious of who is in my life, been that way as a kid. So quality of life is good, which is like a good, trait to have. The giving too much energy thing kind of relates back to what we said earlier, about people not holding each other accountable. You know what I mean? So I think that makes sense. No one ever wants to feel like they're putting in more of the effort.
No, of course not.
I think people understand that at times you might have to do a little bit more, but if you feel like you're always doing it, then it's definitely gonna be a problem. Young Wave. I didn't understand his comment. He said, if it decreases, then you're a whole dumbass.
He's saying if it decreases your quality of life.
He said, if your quality of life decreases when you separate from your friend, you're a whole dumbass. That's actually pretty funny. Kiki Limitless, she said, yes, increased dramatically. Like I have to wonder,
what were you doing?
What were these real friendships like?
That your life increased dramatically? I get, I mean, some people just really keep toxic friends around though, and they really just feel like they're stuck.
That's very true.
And like they're like, I need something to happen for this friendship to end.
Yeah,
like they're too scared to end themselves. It's literally like a breakup. Like people stay in relationships until something really happens, and they're like, okay, now we can end this.
Yeah, like, do you think? I say you think, even though I know that there is. I personally haven't seen it, but there's definitely people out there who just have friends they've been friends with forever that they probably don't even like anymore.
Oh, 100%.
Like, they're still friends with these people, but they're like, I low-key don't like this guy.
I don't like this guy. Oh, we're doing another group outing. I hate when this guy comes. Like they're definitely doing it. Question.
Yeah.
So Tory Lanez drops an album in light of
Did you listen to it?
His silence. I skimmed it.
I haven't listened to it yet.
I skimmed it. I didn't really.
This guy's a whole bum. I honestly feel this way. You know why I feel this way? Only because, okay, aside from what happened and how ridiculous that whole situation was,
but we don't actually know exactly what happened.
We don't know exactly what happened.
We know that. I believe she was shot.
No, okay.
I believe that does exist.
No. I know that exists.
Yes.
But I know because no one was actually there, we can't say for sure what happened.
Right.
But based on the way that he's gone about, like, operating since then, it makes him look very suspect. Right. So I think he would have been much better off not waiting like, she got shot months ago.
Yeah.
This happened months ago. She would have been better off. He would have been better off. Excuse me. Not waiting all these months to then just come out with an album. He would have been better off addressing the situation way back then. Because it was getting to a point where I remember like a month went by and people on Twitter were like, yo, it's looking kind of shaky.
Like, where is this guy?
For not saying anything, right? And a bunch of accusations are coming
out. I mean, in his defense, he's saying that his lawyers advised him not to say anything, blah, blah, which is possibly to be true. But
you think his lawyers advised him to put out a whole album like this? I don't think so. Like, I don't think so, bro. Like, that's not a very smart decision. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
That's a PR team responsibility. That's not lawyer talk. That's your PR team.
I'm sure if he says things on that album that could be used in court, then it's
so what some of the songs I listen to, he basically danced around certain stuff. He's like, you knew like this, you knew how I felt about you. Why would I do it as someone that I really care about? If like, so he's like, even though you're lying on me, like I still have love for you, blah, blah. Like, so he's not actually like, he obviously can't, but he didn't actually say like on January 15th, like obviously this is what really happened. Like, it's not a good look for him. It seems very opportunistic.
So what's the question? Like,
oh, sorry, yeah. The question was, how do you feel about the fact that we live in an era where, and this applies to even racism as well, and this stuff is happening right now, but we live in an era where it's so much easier for people to say, what's the rest of the story? Like, yeah, so I can tell you, bro, Zamora shot me. I can tell someone Zamora shot me yesterday.
Well, what'd you do?
What?
What'd you do to make that happen? Like,
what? I just told you Zamora shot me yesterday. Yeah. No, I heard you, but why do you think you did that?
I think as
why is this my?
I'll tell you why. Yeah, I think being asked that question as a black person is like so. It's so frustrating because we fully understand. It's like, oh my God, like even when you have like a perfect scenario where you shouldn't have to say anything, there's still questions.
Yes.
Like, well, why were you out there at this time? Like bullshit like that, right? And I'm sure women fully understand it because if, you know, all these years when like women were getting like sexually harassed by men and all this type of stuff, there's always, well, like, what were you wearing?
How were you dressed?
How were you dressed?
Yeah.
Like all these bullshit, right?
Did you tease him? Like,
right? It's like, what are you talking about? So I think once again, it kind of relates more to like the previous episode, but the way that social media has conditioned people over the years, I think it's allowed people the freedom to, you know, question everything.
Yeah.
But I don't think people sometimes understand that sometimes you need to just shut the fuck up and like just observe. You might not even need to say anything. And prime example of this, right? What's his name? Kevin, aka Say Midnight, right? Of No Request Club. He DM'd me something on the weekend, right? So I said weekend on the weekend, and basically there's this video going around, this viral video of this girl. You might have seen it on Twitter. She's twerking in a restaurant in front of Salt Bay,
bro.
Wait, so hold on, don't ruin it yet. Have you seen the updated one?
The second angle, yeah. I'm like, that guy hates women. Like, well, in my mind, I'm like, he hits women for sure.
Okay, we're gonna talk.
I don't even know him, but I'm like, that type of fear is wild.
We're gonna talk about the rest of this thing.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So the thing is, when that video first came out, the first angle in this video that you guys see is this girl's twerking in a restaurant in front of Salt Bay, right?
Right.
Who we all remember. Next thing you know, this man comes up, starts banging on the door.
Yo, that waiter was so boomy.
I don't understand why the waiter opened the door.
Because he's like, yo, what is that outside?
You let it in?
Bro, he's like, I'm not gonna not let it in. He finds another way. Bro, if I'm the waiter and I didn't let that in, and then he finds another way in, I'm shitting myself.
I'm not letting that nigga in here. I'm telling you right now.
You're not understanding.
No, I understand.
No, you're not understanding.
I used to work in restaurants. I'm not letting the nigga in.
But you're not understanding. You didn't see that guy in real life. So that waiter saw him bang on that glass and he said, listen, I know this is a dangerous decision to let this guy in, but at the same time, he's seen my face. So listen, if I don't open this door and he finds some other way in this building and comes for me, I don't get paid nearly enough for this. So he's like, listen, there's enough people in here to diffuse the situation. I'll open the door. Hey, I'm off the hook. That was his decision.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
You weren't there. In your mind, you're like, why you open the door? Like, a big ass fucking nigga bang on the glass at your face, like, open the fuck. You're like, bro, go in, bro. This is not my business.
Yes, sir. Would you like some water too?
This is not my business. I serve food.
Golly. It's not my business.
It's not.
So anyway.
So he opens the door with a big ass man gorilla.
Man runs in, and in this angle, it looks like he's running in to talk to the girl. To yell at the woman that was twerking for Salt Bay, right? And that's it. Like, that's what you see, and you start hearing a whole bunch of arguing.
It didn't look like he was about to talk, though.
It didn't look like, to be honest, it looked like
he was about to grab that shit, like pull her, yank her out of there. That's what it looked like. The first angle, like he was about to yank her ass.
So this was a conversation that Kevin brought to me, because he was in another group chat with a bunch of mans and some girls in it, right? And basically what he was saying was that based on what we saw in the video, he was just like, listen, I'm not saying that dude should have been like super aggressive like that, but he doesn't think it's unreasonable because we all assumed that was his girl, right? So he's like, he doesn't assume it's unreasonable for a man. A lot of men would be cheese, of course, if the girl was showing out like 100%, that, right? So he's like, I'm not totally offended by how this guy reacted, right? Because I fully understand that I think a lot of dudes would react this way, right? And this girl was basically telling Kevin that, you know, first of all, like, men shouldn't be, you know, aggressive, but thinking that they have control over women's bodies, which I agree with. Yes. But she was trying to argue that because twerking is dancing is not. No, we're not doing it. We're not going to. There you go. No. She's trying to say it's not sexual. She's trying to say it's not sexual. No. He's like, are you? He's like, no. He said, are you kidding me? Because he's like, There's literal songs where women are saying twerk
that ass,
twerk on his dick,
twerk that ass.
It's a sexual thing. Come on, like
no, that's the other argument. 100%.
Yeah,
I would definitely be angry as a boyfriend. 99% of men would be angry as a boyfriend. I will stop at the point where you could be angry, but the like from what I saw, the aggression he came in with and the fear in her face. Yeah, she was scared because, you know what, fuck, my boyfriend caught me, but it was almost like I'm just based on assumption. That was the type of fear, like, he's been mad before. Yeah. And I know what the fuck he's capable of.
But this is the thing, too. Like, because of the one angle we saw, everyone I saw so many different people coming up with different theories about it, right? Yeah. Like, some people were saying, yeah, it could have been that. Some people were saying that, you know, how do we not know that she hasn't been like fucking around on him? You know what I mean? Like, how do we know that she hasn't been like doing dirty shit on the side and he's finally caught her? Yeah, but
what is your point though?
So the point is, like, as much as we all see that and we're like, holy shit, this dude's really pissed. Yeah. That same argument where people can say, well, what did she do? Like, what has she been doing to let this dude get that angry? And I'm not justifying, but that's also factual here. Like, yes, that's also a component that you have to look at. But the difference is because he's a guy reacting that way to a woman, it's not acceptable, right? But if a woman had walked in on if a guy was talking to a girl in a restaurant and a woman came in, started yelling and banging on the door, was mad, no one would have that same energy. No one had that same energy for the girl.
Yeah, so that literally comes down to the literal, and we're not going to talk about equality because we're being silly. That is a large man, a very big man. Yeah. She was a small little girl, right? And yes, the narrative would not be the same if it was a girl banging, blah blah blah. But based on what we see and what we don't know behind closed doors is, you can be mad, every right to be mad, but he charged her, right? Like, charged her, and if he charged me, I'd be fucking scared. Like, I'm a grown ass man. If he charged me the way he was charging, like, she ran under the table and got, like, she's scared, right? I would be scared if that man like that charged at me. So it's the intimidation factor that is the off part. Like, being mad, 100%. You can walk in and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you can be mad. But he charged her, which means this is me being assuming, but there's some type of fear that he's instilled in her where...
Yeah, I disagree though.
With like, what?
I disagree that, because this is us like putting too much assumptions in based on how he looks. Like, it is because...
No, I'm going, not based on how he looks. I'm saying his size is big, but I'm talking about how he charged her.
No, but this is what you're saying though. Like, if you just said, if he charged you like that, you would have reacted the same way that she did.
Sure. Okay.
Right? That has nothing to do with you thinking like, oh, like he wouldn't have had to have instilled any type of fear of you in the past.
No,
but that's what you said though. Right?
Okay. No, so you're saying,
no, like, people are reacting this way because it's a large man rushing in on a woman like this.
So I'm making the assumption that he may have done this before, which that could be the first time. It absolutely could be. But the reason I'm saying that is because we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. That could be the first time he's ever charged his girlfriend ever. Yeah, sure. Let's just say it could be. But just using some type of rationalism, there's certain personalities that are with certain people, right? Certain people have temper problems. Certain people have, anger issues, whatever. Certain people can't compose themselves in certain high stress situations. So yeah, that very well could be the very first time he ever charged at her. But they're also using rationalism. There are certain traits that just don't exist in certain males. No matter how mad you get, there's certain guys that are never charging a girl. Right, like I can be mad as fuck. I can catch my girl having sex. I'm not charging her. I'll be very mad. Yeah, I'll walk in and be like, "What the fuck is going on?" I might be confused, blah blah. Yeah, but I wouldn't. There's nothing that will get me to charge at a woman for no reason.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
so that could be his first time, but he has the capability of doing that, which makes things seem dangerous.
But that's
the only thing.
Which makes seem dangerous. But this is the problem, though. Relating back to your question about, what do you say to people who just say like, what else happened?
What did she do for?
Well, because when the second video came out,
right, everyone
realizes he wasn't even going after the girl that was twerking.
What do you mean?
Did you see the second angle of the video? No, the girl that was twerking in the first video wasn't even who he was talking to.
So who fell on the ground in the corner?
It was like that could have been his girlfriend in the corner. So the girl dancing was not the same girl that you see in the second video that he goes and talks to. You see in the caption of the video, people are like, wow, people were writing think pieces about the first video. And then we come to realize it's not even about the girl dancing. The girl dancing.
So the girl dancing got up and just ran off.
Yes, the girl dancing was probably just a friend of his girl that was in the back.
It's probably like, oh, fuck. Like,
right? Yeah. So when I see that, it could literally be any, because the first video is like a case study. It lets you know that we see something and everyone just thinks, yo, like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this girl? We just assumed he's pissed because his girl is twerking in his restaurant for Salt Bay. Right? Trying to get clout. Turns out to not be the case. Right. And it could be something like just way dumber than that, and he still just has his anger issue. Yeah. Or it could literally be something as common as he just found out his girl's been cheating on him
and found her somewhere else or something like that.
Found her somewhere else. Like, what if like it could literally be anything?
Yeah. So my thing is, it's not even about the, like, I don't even care about the twerking part. I don't even care what the fuck the girl.
Yeah, but it had nothing to do with the twerking.
No, that's the thing. But my argument has, I don't even care what she could be fucking eating food in there. It's just him coming in that way for a girl was aggressive, is what I'm like. But yeah, you can be mad. You can do it. Like, I don't even care if she was twerking. Yeah, like, actually, I don't care what she was doing. Like, it actually doesn't matter what she was doing.
I don't know. Like, I disagree, only because as long as he's literally not putting hands on her, and he's
that's a slippery slope.
No, let me finish. As long as he's not putting hands on her, and he hasn't been like a verbally abusive man, I can't tell you that the way he reacted without knowing why he's reacting is uncalled for, because I don't know. I don't know. How do you know that? Like, that's the problem with social media. That is the problem. And it goes back to the question you said. I can't put my own emotions and then put judgment on people if I literally do not know what happened in that situation.
Yeah, but my argument is that it actually doesn't matter what happened if he's going towards a girl with that type of aggression. But
then it goes back to the equality thing of what you said, because a girl could have ran in the same way. She could have ran in the same way. She could have ran in holding a knife, and no one would still give.
But now,
but it's true.
You're adding a weapon. Like,
but you know what I'm saying is true. If a girl ran in the same way, same energy, holding the blade, everyone would say that nigga was probably cheating on her, and no one would say she can't be reacting that way to the situation.
First of all, some people would say that, yes. It would not the majority.
The majority.
No, yes, but adding a weapon is a completely different level of conversation. I'm just saying, from what we have, and the information we do have is there's an angry man, bangs on the door, barges in, chasing said girl. It didn't happen to be the same girl twerking, but he's still running with aggression to whoever his girlfriend was in there. My only argument, like, yeah, you could be as mad as you want, but just because you don't hit someone doesn't mean you can't still instill a form of intimidation and aggression towards somebody.
Yeah, so if I'm angry, anyone's gonna be cheesed.
Right. Yeah. But cheese and aggression are not the same thing. Like, you could be.
That's all. Sorry. That's all perception, and I know this.
What is perception?
That's all perception. I know this because there've been plenty of times as a black man, like, I've been told that you're an aggressive human being, and you know that's not the case.
Bro, we're not talking about just someone just calling you aggressive. We're talking about someone charging somebody.
Yeah.
You can't charge someone and not be considered aggressive. That's impossible. Someone calling you aggressive because you're talking too loudly, very different. But Ryan, someone calling you aggressive because you're standing your ground,
but very Ryan, different. The whole point of this conversation started from, like, you asking based off of people saying, what about the other side? It
Right.
applies here. Like it does.
No, but
even though it may not be right what he did, it applies. I'm not saying that I have to agree with it. It just is what it is due to the nature of social media. Due to the nature of social media, we can't, like, because we don't know whatever dumb situation that these two people have, even though we know that the way this guy is reacting is not the way he should be.
Sure.
Seeing the first video and then seeing the second literally allows people to say, well, what happened in the situation? Why is a nigga that mad in the first place?
Right. But
and that goes back to the question.
Yeah, my argument is on the other side though. I'm saying we do that more than taking someone for what they've said. Like we're arguing two different things. My argument is, why can someone tell you that someone raped me or someone shot me, someone did this to me, and instead of being listened to and receive compassion, it's but are you sure that's what happened? Are you like there's the doubt comes with it, like especially from black women, especially like
of course,
especially from black women. Black women says something, I don't know. White women says something, oh yeah, that definitely happened, right? That's my argument individually. Yeah. The second argument, which you're saying it applies to Wells is more is there's another side of it where people get accused of things. Like I'm talking about the victim. You're talking about the defendant. I'm
talking from both sides. Like
but they're two different sides. One is the victim saying this happened to me and being questioned. Another is someone accusing someone of something but not having the opportunity to have another side. You know what I'm saying?
But the original question you asked had to do with like, how do you feel basically about the fact that we now live in a society where people can just say what happened?
Right.
And I said,
or what else is there?
Yeah, what else is there? And I said for off rip, I think it's fucked up that we live in that society.
Yeah.
But the way social media has conditioned us, it is what it is. Like it's part of it now. And as much as we don't like that situation that we saw in this one particular video, the fact that literally two different angles came out that provided two very different narratives feeds into that whole thing where people then say, well, what is actually going on?
Right. Because
we all saw the one video and we all assumed, like I assumed he was chasing after the girl Tori. I thought it was as simple as that. And I'm like, damn, nigga, like you don't have to go in there and chase her like that. And then you find out it has nothing to do with the girl dancing. It's some next girl in the back. And you're like, so why is he going after the one that's not dancing? What was happening? So then the question is like, but I don't care. I don't care what it is.
That's like, it doesn't actually matter. Why is he still chasing a girl?
I don't care. I don't care because I'm not investing in these people. But I'm just saying that like, I'm just speaking from like my perspective. In my head, I can't imagine what it would take for me to have to charge in like that.
But I'm saying there might never be a thing that can make you charge based on your personality.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's based on my personality. I know that everyone's different.
Right.
So he could just be the type of nigga that acts like that to begin with. Sure. Right. Always likes to act up.
Right.
He might not be. Right. But I can't like sit here and be like, write think pieces about this shit the way people do on social media.
Of course
but that's what it is though.
Yeah.
Like people will make opinions about shit like this to the end of days. And it's like, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I see two very different videos. At this point, I'm like, I'm not even gonna insert myself into this by trying to assume what happened, why people are acting this way. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
See, like, there's storyline and then there's behavioral, and the storyline is very unclear. We don't know which girl, you don't know what was actually happening. We thought it was one girl, it happened to be the other girl, so on and so forth. My only stance, I don't care about anything else. I don't care what the fuck she was doing in there. There could have been that girl, could have been both girls. It could be, my only stance was like, even if it was a twerking girl or it was a girl in the back of the room, for him to charge at either of these girls, if it's both of whoever it was, is still out of line to do as a man. That is like, I don't care how mad you are as a man. Do not charge a woman.
Yeah,
like,
I think
period.
I think it's a weak move for sure. But I'm just saying,
I can't tell a man how to be mad.
I can't tell. Yo, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
If a woman was to hurt my nephew, I'll probably charge her in anger. I'm not gonna touch her, but I would charge in anger, and I would feel like I'd be justified. If you hurt a little kid, I definitely feel I would charge a girl in anger if I found out she hit my nephews and shit like that. But the way I would react to that situation is probably very different to a lot of people. Right. I know for a fact, like, there's just some things you never, ever, ever do as a man. Right. And it's like, it even goes back to that. Like, the whole thing is like very, like, it's muddy waters that you enter. Right. Because we've even talked about, like, on older podcasts about when,
if a woman hits or a man hits.
Yeah. And like as a society, us teaching women that
they can get away with this shit.
Yeah. We've taught women that, like, this can happen. But the problem with that is we haven't taught women enough that, like, there's actually dudes out there who are fucking crazy. Like, we know there's crazy dudes, but there are dudes who will straight up.
There's a guy that will punch you in the face.
That will straight up hit you.
Yeah.
And we've conditioned women to think that
they can't.
That they can hit us, and, like, some men will actually fucking hit you back. It's like, it's scary. It's scary to me. Like, it would drive me nuts to have a daughter and not have her know that, like, yo,
you
like,
don't. It's not like an untouchable privilege that you're like, I can hit you, but you can't touch me.
There's
like,
no untouchable privilege for anyone.
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
like,
no one should be.
Man, woman, race, doesn't matter. Like, anyone can get it if you're around the wrong person.
Hey, I've seen it. I've seen man's box women before,
bro. I've seen that happen. I saw a girl at a bar that I was working at. Fucking, she punched some man in the face, like, with a hand that she had a ring on. And man was blinded in the right eye. He couldn't do nothing. About it. Went to the hospital, can't see out of his eye anymore. He's done.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And, like, people would have looked at him like he was crazy if he hit her back.
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand both sides of that. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. Like, you hit a woman, like, that's pretty fucking low as a guy, right?
But that doesn't mean you get a right to just hit man.
You get a right to just take my vision away. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on.
Like, we're not, like, women are not so weak that, like, they can't hurt us. Like, you can. A woman can hurt me.
Bro, you can break my whole face right now. You can rearrange that shit if you wanted to.
Women, you can hurt us. Like, don't give me that bullshit. Like, oh, I'm just a little girl. If you punch me in the mouth, my lip will bleed the same way like yours will. We're not, men are not, we're not mutants. We're like, a woman's punch is just so light that, like, I didn't even feel that. Oh,
I said we're not mutants.
Like, oh, that was just a woman's punch in the mouth. No worries. You're good, Zamore. You know, I'm sure you know girls who box right now that can knock you out if she wanted to.
Oh, like, bro, I know at least like
stop it.
I know at least like 8.
Stop it.
Even off the top of my head.
There are women that will clean man's head top, like, clean off the neck, right off.
Oh my God, it's crazy. It's crazy times, but you know, I say all that not to justify any of the bullshit he did. Right? It's just social media is so fucked up nowadays. Like, it really is. It's always been fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm just getting older, so I understand how fucked up it really is.
Yeah, it's like, and it's getting super, super sensitive.
Super sensitive. It's getting fucked up, and it's become so, like, submissive. Like, you have to. It's like you almost have to follow a narrative all the time. Marlon tweeted some shit the other day where it's just like, he's just like, no one's allowed to evolve. Like, however you discover me at
that's
my
what you are.
That's what you are.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, like, that is so factual.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to actually remember in the last podcast I asked you, like, if you could go back in time and tell your younger self about social media, like, what would you tell what's the number one thing you would tell your younger self about social media? The one thing they need to know.
The one thing they need to know?
Yeah.
Like, from what I know now?
Yeah.
I would definitely say don't share everything.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do, you cannot reel back in social media. You can't reel it
forever.
You can't reel it in.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's all there forever. But I mean, like, I'm just talking about, like, just human perception and how people process information that you share.
Yeah.
Even if you change your mind, even if you get smarter now, say if I say something today and it's inaccurate, and then in 2 months I realize it was inaccurate, and I'm like, go back, I'm like, yo, shit, like 2 months ago I said this, that was wrong. Nah, fuck you.
Yeah.
No. Like I took some time. I actually realized, I went back and I wanted to like just let you guys know, like, what I said 2 months ago, it was actually incorrect. I actually meant this. Nah, you meant that. What? No, like, and there's no way for you to fix it.
Yeah.
So like you have to be very self-aware of what you put out, because like social media and society does not allow you to edit. As funny as that sounds, because you can edit all these apps, you can fix this,
face,
correct this, do this, but in actuality, the society does not let people edit. If you put something out, or you say something how you feel, if you're mad one day and you say something and you calm down the next day, nah, fuck that. Nah, what you said, that's you. And we've seen the is this you shit all over Twitter. People saying something 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Yeah, that might have been them in those moments when they said that. But 7 years, 8 years later, they learn, they mature. They're like, oh, that was pretty fucked up that I said that. Yeah. But people are like, nah, you're still like that. What? Like, and it's such a widely spread mentality that like you are literally at the I guess the hands of social media of how they perceive you or want to label you.
Whatever you were like, at your worst publicly is what people want to keep you at.
Yes.
You know, that's what people want to keep you at. I see it every day, social media. Like, you know, Kanye be tweeting all his shit. And every time you tweet something, you go look at the comments. And it's just bare people, like these, I don't know if they're bots or like fans from other people, but they're like, Taylor Swift ended you and like all this shit. And it's like, nigga, that was like nearly a decade ago. Like, get over it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know, so I think for me, it definitely is along the lines of what you said. Don't share everything. I think the other thing too would be somehow to just realize that some of this shit you see on social media that people say, like, just don't take it too personal.
Like it's not,
like it's not that serious. You know what I mean? Like it's really not that serious. Yeah. Because I'll tell you what, bro. Like, if I spend, Twitter is my favorite app. Yeah. But if I spend enough time on Twitter, I will leave that app not believing, but thinking, yo, I'm really not shit because I'm a man. Like, I will really believe
the man bashing on there.
It's not just like man bashing, but every day when I go on Twitter, I either see that men ain't shit, like all men ain't shit, and I just have to hold that L because I'm a man. I can't argue it. Or, I was talking to Martin the other day too about this, but like I'll believe that I'm a piece of shit because I've dated outside my race, based on shit I see online, and it's like the way they structured it, like the reasoning behind it. Yeah, like when I see all this stuff, I'm like, okay, like this is time to check out because people it'll infiltrate your mind. It'll show influence you. Like, luckily, like I've never had that problem. I'm like, oh my god,
where you actually feel
where I feel it, but I know for a fact there's I know it's out there, but I know for a fact there's definitely mans out there who never felt that way, and then they start thinking, well, these girls fucking hate, like they don't like me, so I'm just gonna lean in on this other side. It's like, oh my god, like now it just becomes a whole thing. And it's true, like I think social media, I think it's toxic as hell, as much as I love what I can do with it, but it's fucking toxic, bro. It can literally kill you.
Yeah, definitely.
It can literally do that. Like people can just have their whole, you could think about the fact that you could wake up tomorrow and just get obliterated on social media for something that you said 8 years ago when you were essentially a child, like
if
young.
Someone finds it,
and you know how people find this shit?
They just search.
People find it because like Twitter has the function built in.
You can just search words,
but you just literally search words.
I can search racist and top boy, and if you said anything that said racist in it, find it. 2014. I love racists. Like,
so like you could,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, what? Like I could go to, you know, I could find a white person who I just don't like, right? Like I don't like them personally,
and just try and find.
And I'm like, let me see if I can find some shit,
find some dirt
to ruin their day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you can just do that. And as a dude, like,
and in most cases, that's what happens. Anytime it's usually when someone that you don't like decides to change, and you're not letting them.
You're not
like,
comfortable with that change.
Someone's like, you know what? They start supporting black people, and they're like, you know what? Like, I married a black person now, and you know, I finally realized, you know, how you guys are being treated, and then let's just say they turn a new leaf, and someone's like, nah, I'm not buying that shit. I am not buying this new leaf bullshit. They can search this person's name and be like, I know they said something about black people years ago. I don't know what it was. But they can be like, term black, term hate, or just words, and then the person's username. And in 2013, it comes up. I don't really like black guys that much, blah, 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 because of this. Copy and paste, tweet this and say, yo, what are you talking about? What do you mean you turn a new leaf? No, nah. You say you don't like black guys, right? That was 8 years ago. Nah. Like, and that's it.
It's crazy, man. Like, yes, I do understand. Like, no one wants to see the fucked up shit you said from the past. Like, you don't want to see that as the person getting outed, and like your friends, your family, they don't want to see that either, because it's embarrassing, and it's like, fuck, bro, like you really said this shit online. But it's like, no one can sit here who's listening or watching and honestly say to themselves that you never said some wild shit when you were younger.
I've searched some of my old tweets.
Bro, let me tell you something what I did.
It's fucking reckless.
Let me tell you what I did.
But it just goes to show how different of a time we're literally in. Yeah. Because when we were saying stuff like that, no one was coming at you.
No one's coming at you. Like, and I understand, to be fair, like, no one's coming at you. But, and the thing is, over time, I think people just realize, like, yo, that was a little fucked up.
A little messed up.
Yeah,
so we grew out of it.
Yeah, you just grow out of it.
As a society, though. Yeah. Like, we've grown out of everything as a society.
But the problem, though, with that is, I actually don't have a problem with us as a society growing out of shit where it's like, it's a little fucked up. Yeah. Right? Because, you know, shit that your fucking racist uncle be saying, no matter what race they are, shit that they be saying back in like the 40s, 50s, 60s, is not really okay now. Right? So it's like,
so we've had to evolve.
So you gotta say, like, yo, Uncle Joe, like, you gotta get with the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the problem with it is when it, like anything, is when it goes to the extreme, you know? So we talk about like the extreme left, extreme right. It's like, okay, bro, like, you got to find like a happy medium here. Cause I watch The Office all the time, and in the background I'm doing shit, and every day when I watch it,
that show's wild.
I'm like, this show,
I mean, it was funny back then.
Yo,
it's still funny now.
It's still funny now, and I'm like, it could never come out today.
Absolutely not.
It could never come out today.
Absolutely not. There's no way.
Bro, they try to cancel fucking
Chappelle Show stuff couldn't happen.
Chappelle would never happen. Like, they try to cancel did you ever watch Tropic Thunder?
No.
Tropic Thunder was like one of my favorite comedy movies, right? It's with Ben Stiller and all these people. Yeah. And in the movie, Robert Downey, it's all okay, because the premise of the movie, they're all actors like playing roles in a movie. Like a war movie. And what ends up happening is the director hates them all because he's like, they're prima donnas. So he takes them to the jungle and decides to like POV everything. And he's like, we're going to put you like in a real war situation. 10 minutes in, the director stands on a landmine and dies. Like, blows up. But the actors think
it's fake.
They think it's fake. So they're like, all right, we still have the script. So let's just like keep playing our roles. Yeah. And they're literally in an actual like war zone jungle, right? One of the actors, Robert Downey Jr., he plays one of those method actors. So he like really gets into the role. Yeah. His role was a black guy.
He wasn't black
in the army. No, he was like in the movie. He played like a blue-eyed Irish dude. So to play this role, he got like actual surgery. It didn't look fucked up, but he got like actual, not real Robert Downey Jr.
Oh,
the actor that he was playing in the movie
got surgery.
In the movie, got surgery
to look black,
like a black guy. And honest to God, like if you watch the movie back then, and even if you watch it now, he fucking killed it. Like he actually killed it. Jamie Foxx was on a podcast with Joe Rogan because they were talking about it, and they're like, "Yo, did any black people
have an issue with that?
Try to cancel him?" And he's like, "Honestly, Joe, no one did because like you understood what the movie was about, like, what he was.
There's a story to it. So.
It wasn't being done to mock black people. Yeah. It was like this fucked up actor who took his roles way too seriously.
Yeah.
So
he's trying to embody it,
and he's like, and Jamie Foxx is like, yo, like he got all the mannerisms down.
Like he actually got it.
He got everything down. He's like, because he's a really good actor in real life. He's like, he got everything down. But he's like, now people are trying to cancel him.
They're trying to pull it back now.
Trying to pull it back now.
Oh my God.
And that's where it goes too far. I was like, yo, are you kidding me? Like this is the people who are trying to cancel this shit are not from that time.
They're doing it now.
No, they're not.
They're from now.
They're from now. That's what cheeses me. Because like you and I grew up in the time where it's like, when we were growing up, we watched shit like Family Guy, and that was normal. That was normal to us now.
I'm just thinking now that you just mentioned that movie, like how fucking weird is a movie like White Chicks?
You know what I mean? Like
what? Like, do you know how weird of a movie that would be to be made right now?
It could never get made. It could never get made. It could never get made.
Do you know how weird of even if it's not made right now, even if you just watch it right now again and just watch it as a grown person, because like when we were young, it came out.
Yeah.
If you watched it, I haven't watched it recently, but if we might have to just spend a day just actually just watch that shit.
If you watch it now,
and watch it as a grown adult in this economy, and just watch it and listen to the real script of it.
Yeah.
Now that we're aware, that movie is probably so fucked up. Like that movie is probably so fucked up. I can't even remember lines right now at this point. I can't even remember anything because I was so young.
Because all it was just playing on stereotypes of white women, right? Played by these two niggas. Like then it's like, yo, because that whole family was wild. The Wayne families, they just used to do wild shit all the time. And they're like, you know what? We're gonna make an entire movie where us as two black men play these white girls, and we get plastic surgery to make it look super real, and we're just gonna do the whole movie like this. Like what?
What concept is this?
How are you selling that to a fucking movie studio today?
How?
In today's culture and society, there's no...
They would literally look at them and be like, please leave.
There'd be an outrage.
Please leave.
There would be an outrage for that movie to come out.
Please leave.
So look, I'm not trying to say that, I think we should go back to the fucked up times.
No.
I'm just saying that...
Leave it where it is, though.
Just saying, you gotta leave that shit in the past. If it's not causing problems now, leave it there. Because...
And I also think we were of a responsible mentality back then that, like, for the most part, I can't speak for everybody, but for the most part, like, even like, Def Comedy Jam and like all those, like, there was white people in the audience, Indian people, Chinese people, and they're making racist jokes. But like, I think we're like, back then, I think we had the capacity to be like, this is just a joke, guys. Like, there's obviously racist still all that forever, right? But like, as a community though, like, I think our brains were at the capacity where we're like, you're white, I'm black, you're Indian. Like, this is, to us, this is just a joke right now. We can accept our stereotypes. We can accept this fucking stuff we do. Yeah. I don't hate you because of it. We're not actually laughing. We're all laughing together. You can laugh at black people jokes and laugh at white people. Like, I think just as a community and society, like, our brain was at a more understanding capacity of intent. Yeah. Because right now, I don't think people understand intent. And I don't think they can separate intent from actuality or nuance or like sarcasm. Like, none of these things matter anymore in this era. Yeah. You can't be sarcastic. You can't have any type of not everything has to be exactly what it is, or you're canceled.
Yeah.
Like
you're fucked.
There's no gray area.
Yeah.
There's no leeway. There's no rope.
No,
like,
you're 100% right, man. Because like it's exactly like
and I'm sure it's killing comedy. I definitely believe it's killing the comedy industry.
I definitely believe it's killed comedy to a certain extent for sure. I think
not that you have to be racist to be a good comedian. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I think what it is people's humor over time has changed, right?
Yes.
Like the way I used to find Family Guy funny, my humor's changed. Like I don't find it as funny the same way. But you know, there's still a market for all that type of stuff. I just think that in terms of comedy specifically, it's definitely affected it. I'm glad that, you know, some of the comedians that I love came out in the time that they did. Yeah. Because if Dave Chappelle in his 20s existed now, he's not successful. There's no way. First of all, Dave Chappelle show is not coming out. Yeah. Like that's not a thing. And he's definitely not as successful with his jokes, right? Like it's just not a thing. Yeah. And I couldn't even imagine. Like could not imagine. Like which comedians are big now? Like I know there's the Kevin Hart, some of these people, but like
Kevin Hart's not big because of his comedy.
Exactly, he's big because
he's a business genius. He's not like that is the funniest comedian in the world. No,
all these things they're doing. The comedians that like we know. Could you imagine Bernie Mac still being around?
No,
there's no way this dude. Bro, the guy had a show. I fucking love that show, the Bernie Mac show.
Yeah.
Part of the show's humor,
you motherfuckers,
was the fact that he would beat his kids. I'm just like, there's no way that show could exist right now.
Yep.
There's no way.
I'm playing with you motherfuckers.
Fuck, man. Rest in peace, Bernie Mac. I miss that guy.
I miss the old times.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up.
This was swell. Someone gave me I can't remember who it was. Like, I'm sorry, whoever messaged me that day. But someone told me that like, listening to our podcast feels like they're just like kicking it with us. And I was like, thank you. That's what happened.
No, sorry. I was listening to what you said.
Oh, yeah. Like someone just said like, listen to our podcast makes them feel like they're just kicking it with their friends. And I'm like, that's like an amazing compliment.
Yeah, that's good.
Just like, cause I don't actually think about, I've lost the process that the camera's on years ago.
Yeah.
And that's just because we're used to being in the camera. But like, I don't even, I guess in some weird way, is it good?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I'll just check.
I guess in some weird way, it's like, I'm just talking to you the whole episode. And everyone else can kind of like join in their mind.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
When people are
like, I don't feel like I'm actually like, yeah, guys. So, you know, this is how I feel about X and Y. Like, I'm just talking.
Well, when people are listening, there's definitely times where they're just like, what do you say? Like, what do you say? Right. Yeah. They're doing that.
Which is great.
It's good.
You know?
Yeah.
So thank you guys. I'm glad we've been back consistently for what, 5 weeks now, I think.
More than that.
Is it more than 5 weeks since we started going again?
Yeah, we started like at least episode
70. Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
70, 71.
Yeah.
10 weeks?
Yeah.
Where is time?
I don't know, bro.
What? Yeah. It's been 10 weeks?
Dog, September's done.
Where is time?
I think in 2 days it's October.
It's been 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's fucked up.
But we sound crispy these last few weeks, eh? Thank you guys for listening, man. Until next week, we will see y'all later. Peace. Good night. Bye.
Hello? We need to talk.
We need to talk.
We need to talk.